First of all, welcome to the Down Payment Resource Growing Your First Time Homebuyer Business webinar. Thank you all for joining us today, where we can learn a little bit more about how you can grow your own first time homebuyer business a little bit more. My name is Tracy Thomas. I'm the Customer Success Manager here at Down Payment Resource. But if you have any questions while I'm speaking, please make sure to enter them in the chat or the Zoom's Q&A feature. The Q&A feature is usually better because they can keep track of all those questions, but they will also be monitoring chat as well as we go. Behind the scenes, we have Lori Johnson and Mel Harris. They're going to be helping to answer those questions for you. But at the end, I am going to leave a little bit of time where we can do some live Q&A as well. So please make sure to drop those in Q&A or in chat, and our team will help you along the way. I do also want to let you all know that we are recording this webinar today, and we will send it to everybody that registered. It'll go to the same email address that you used to register, and you should get it in the next couple of business days. It takes a little while for that to process. Okay, so today we're going to show you how to start more conversations with first-time home buyers by sharing information that's going to help your buyers overcome their biggest challenge, which is the down payment. We are going to briefly explore the state of DPAs right now and look at the opportunity that first-time homebuyers present. But the focus is really to show you how real agents across the country are using Down Payment Connect to enhance their marketing, expand their reach, and match clients to DPA opportunities, and then generate those leads. First, I want to give you a little background about who we are in case you have not joined us in any of our webinars before. Down Payment Resource, or DPR as we call it, was launched in 2008 to solve a problem that drove a lot of people in real estate and mortgage lending crazy. There was no easy way to find and track homebuyer programs. So DPR developed an easier way to connect eligible borrowers with hard-to-find resources like DPAs, grants, MCCs, and other assistance. We provide tools and down payment assistance program information for real estate agents, loan officers, and ultimately consumers as well to help all of you find and understand the down payment solutions that are out there for your buyers. Today, we're going to talk about one of the coolest down payment resource tools, which is Down Payment Connect. Some have said we're like Match.com, but for down payment assistance. So ultimately, we're here to help you connect home buyers to the down payment help that they're needing. Today, we're going to discuss the state of DPAs and their impact. We're going to go over the first-time home buyer market opportunity, educating buyers about down payments. We're going to discuss enhancing your marketing to expand your reach, and then we're going to cover some Down Payment Connect peer examples, both in the slide deck, and then also I'll move to some live examples as well. So let's start with the current state of DPA programs. We publish a quarterly report called the Homeownership Program Index Report, where we take stock of what's out there across the country and we look at developing trends. On the screen here, I have an overview of the types of homeownership programs that we track. And currently, 80% of all homebuyer programs are some form of down payment assistance. Those do come in many forms, as you can see, including deferred and forgivable programs, repayable programs, and true grants. I do want to note, though, that most DPAs are deferred loans, and about half of those are also forgivable. We also track all of the affordable first mortgage programs, which can typically be layered with DPAs, as well as tax credits or mortgage credit certificates, and some other less common programs, but we're not going to really touch on those much today. It is a very common myth that down payment programs are not available in specific areas. However, down payment programs are available everywhere. High-cost markets, low-cost markets, urban, rural, every single state has a housing finance agency whose programs are available statewide. Plus, there are lots of local programs in each market. Income and price limits are also market adjusted, which is based on the median incomes and median prices in that particular market. So you end up seeing higher limits in those higher cost markets. On the image on the screen here, you can see the states with the greatest number of programs currently, but there is literally no county in the country where some kind of help isn't available. So let's take stock of the current DPA trends in the US. The demand for DPAs is absolutely through the roof, and DPA providers are continuing to increase the assistance amounts, income limits, and purchase price limits to help more buyers in today's market. And those DPA providers are also expanding the eligible uses of their funds as well as inventory options. And there are new and local programs that are continuing to be added in several different markets nationwide. And in fact, our recent Q4 2026 Homeownership Program Index report showed some good stats. There was a 6% year over year increase in the program count, going from 2,466 programs at the end of 2024 to 2,619 programs at the end of 2025. And 53% of DPA programs, which totaled about 1,035 programs, offer partial or full forgiveness over time, which was a 5% year over year increase as well. And newly constructed homes are supported by 2,113 of these programs, or 81% of all program options. And one last little stat here for you. Multifamily properties are eligible under 923 of these programs, which is a 15% year over year increase, including growing support for 3-unit and 4-unit properties. So these stats here are just really to show you that new state and local programs are continuing to launch in markets nationwide. And 77% of all DPAs are funded and available. So there's a lot more attention on affordability and down payment assistance now than in many years. These programs are very widely available and they are not going away. And I will point out, we will have a new report coming out that reflects the first quarter of this year that should be coming out in the next few weeks. So I keep an eye out for that on our website because that should be coming out very soon. Now, let's think about the mindset of first-time homebuyers. They really want to stop renting, but they don't know what they can afford, and they don't know about down payment help. Often, they think they need a bigger down payment than is actually required. And right now, many home buyers are really sidelined and just waiting. We know it's a challenging time on so many fronts, and we know that navigating the process in general is never easy. So these prospective buyers, they need your help navigating that home buying process, guidance for getting a pre-approved for a home loan, help understanding down payment requirements and access to those different down payment solutions that can help them. And they need help navigating a really competitive market with limited inventory. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, they want your help so that they can win those bids. In fact, in a recent study that we participated in with the Urban Institute, which surveyed millennial renters, here's what potential buyers were saying. When they were asked what their biggest barrier to homeownership was, 68% of them cited down payment as the biggest obstacle to homeownership. When they were asked how big of a down payment they thought that they had to buy a home, 65% of them thought they needed 15%, 20%, or even more for a down payment. And when asked if they were familiar with low down payment mortgage options, 76% of them had little or absolutely no familiarity with low down payment mortgage options, much less down payment assistance programs. Many buyers really are mortgage ready, but they don't think they could qualify because of these misperceptions. And they don't know about the ability to get an FHA loan with a lower percent down or a conventional mortgage with a lower percentage. And all too often, they don't know about DPA programs, but that's part of what we're here today to do is to start changing that. So it's a confusing time in the market, and education is more important now than never. And these buyers really need an advisor that they can trust, and they'll tell their peers. I promise you, they will refer you to everybody. So you may have found out about this webinar through your MLS. If your MLS provides down payment resource, we identify eligible listings right there within your MLS and match them to all available homebuyer assistance programs. If you're an MLS partner with Down Payment Resource, like I said, we identify those listings in the MLS and we match them to the programs. And we provide these matching tools in your MLS agent and client portal listing reports. You also get Down Payment Connect absolutely free through these MLS partners. So check out Down Payment Resource and let your clients know what's available and talk to your lending partners about which programs they offer. Just let us know if you have questions along the way as well. So if you found out about us through your MLS, this is how you're going to find Down Payment Resource in there. Now, this is different from one MLS to another as far as how it looks and where it's placed exactly, but generally you can find us under products and services or external links. And you're going to want to look for either this little money sign icon, this little green money sign with a blue check mark, or the green and white or green and blue house icon is generally what you're going to see Down Payment Resource as inside of these MLSs. But after you click on Down Payment Resource, you're going to come to your Down Payment Resource homepage, and your personalized Down Payment Connect link is going to be waiting for you there. I'm going to show you how it all works next, but this link is unique for you, and you'll know that because it ends with your first name underscore last name. So don't use the one that you see on my screen. This is just a demo example one for you. But know that it's tied to your name, email address, and the phone number that's in your MLS profile. So if anything with that is incorrect, reach out to your MLS and make sure that they have the correct information internally and see if not, if they can get that updated for you. And it will automatically pull that change overnight when we do our data pool. But below your landing page link is an overview of the Down Payment Connect tool and also a link to marketing resources, which can help get you started. If you click that button, you'll have access to several graphics packages, including social media images, as well as customizable flyers in both English and Spanish. You'll also find training videos, case studies, reports, and so much more. And you can utilize these in your email campaigns, on social media, your website, etc. And along with your Down Payment Connect link, you can use that to help increase your business while educating more buyers about down payment assistance. I'm going to show you some examples of how other agents are doing this in just a few minutes, though. If your MLS was not listed earlier, we do have a paid monthly subscription to Down Payment Connect, and we'll get that information to you after the webinar, or you can go to downpaymentresource.com/DPC to learn more. But Down Payment Connect offers you a personalized landing page where buyers can come search for down payment programs where they want to buy a home, and then connect back to you to learn more and take the next steps. Loan officers, if any of you on here are loan officers, you can also see all the programs in your market and control which ones are displayed downstream, along with your additional eligibility tools. So there is no limit to the traffic or the leads that you can generate with Down Payment Connect. It's really up to you as to where all you're sharing it, how often you're sharing this link, as to how many leads you can have coming in. But there are a few things to note about Down Payment Connect leads. You are not paying for leads, you're generating your own leads in a creative new way with this unique tool. Like I said before, it is free for MLS partners of ours. So don't pay for this if you have it for free with your MLS. Check that first. If you don't, though, we do have a paid version that's available. You can get to it on our website. Now, who gets those leads? No one else. They're yours and yours alone. Those leads are only going to come to you in your inbox. Nobody else is copied or CC'd. They're not sold or resold anywhere else. So when these leads come in, an email comes to you in your email inbox with contact information for that buyer. and the information that they input on their eligibility search. And then the buyer themselves that filled out the lead is going to get an email in their inbox with your contact information, letting them know that you're going to be reaching out to them soon to talk about next steps. And it's going to have a little bit of information about the results in that email that they get as well. So it's only to the two of you that there would be any outreach. So now let's look at some fun and creative examples of how your peers all over the country are using Down Payment Connect to drive more business and educate more buyers about DPA programs. We're going to visit some of these live in a few moments as well. So up first is the ability to add the link to your website. Brian in Atlanta simply added a Down Payment Connect link and some basic content to his homepage so that it's among the first things a buyer sees on his website. And it illustrates for prospective first-time home buyers and others that he's focused on them too. This is a really easy way to get started with Down Payment Connect. So here's another example from Angela, who has the Down Payment Connect form on a new buyer's page on her website. And you can get to it through the main navigation bar where it says Down Payment Assistance at the top. And didn't have to draft a whole bunch of other content. It's just another easy way to get started. Some agents, though, do choose to offer a more educational approach. This real estate broker in Seattle has a section on his site called Advice for Buyers with a special DPA page. They educate buyers about DPAs, and the page ends with an embedded search for buyers to find what's available to them. This is a really great way to give aspiring buyers a little bit more information along the way, but to cap it off with the opportunity to find out which programs they can use to buy their own home. And this one is one of our favorites, and it also includes a lot of educational content. Richmond Region Realty in Virginia created their own long-form educational page on down payment assistance with several opportunities for that person on their page to click and go to their Down Payment Connect tool. They created their own branded educational video, explanations of DPAs and their benefits, and several links to their Down Payment Connect page throughout this one page. It's written almost like a short ebook or article, and it dives into several topics of interest to buyers. And along the way, the buyer has several opportunities to engage with their Down Payment Connect tool. And Ronnie Berman with Richmond Region Realty was actually featured in Inman News for his successful Facebook campaigns using his Down Payment Connect page. Here's a creative use case from Raul, who is a broker in Austin, Texas. But let me start with a question for you guys. Do you have any homework or takeaways that you give to your clients? If you do, tell us in chat. I'd love to hear what your takeaways are, what homework steps you give them. What Raul did here, though, is he created this 3-step checklist for new clients. And step 1 is to address home financing and down payment assistance opportunities. We absolutely love this because one of our goals is for down payment assistance to be a part of the earliest conversation a buyer has with their agent and lender. Making sure the buyer is getting pre-approved or pre-qualified and also investigating DPA options. And I love what Raul did here because he helps connect those dots for the buyers. You can do that as well with your Down Payment Connect tool. This is such an easy option, and it's honestly presented to anyone that you email or anyone they forward your email to. But you can see an example of this here with Sal in California, who includes his Down Payment Connect link in his email signature so that anyone getting that email knows that down payment help is out there, and they can use Sal's tool to find available programs and continue that conversation. You can find instructions on how to do this in the marketing tools link on your Down Payment Connect homepage as well. So now let's talk about social media. I have Raul here again. He's from Austin, Texas, and he created a great social media drip campaign where he identified and answered the top 10 homebuyer questions by video. He answered one question a week in video format and posted on his business Facebook page. Down payment assistance was one of the topics, and the call to action was his Down Payment Connect landing page. This is a great way to educate new buyers, but also to keep your audience engaged. And I will say video content is such a great way to engage your audience. So make sure you're being creative on some social media platforms here with things like that. Up here, I have a couple other examples for you. So on the top right, we'll start with that one. This one's a really great approach because this is a listing that an agent is listing of a property. And they're pointing out that this property that they're listing has down payment assistance available at that location. This is a great way to get additional eyes on the properties that you're listing because it opens it up uh, as a little bit of additional information right there, right away, that home buyers could know that this property could be one that they could use DPA if that's something they're needing to do. On the bottom left, I like this one because it really relates to the customers because it's letting them know, like, we get it. Saving for a house really feels like climbing the Half Dome at Yosemite Park. But then it goes on to let them know that down payment assistance programs can actually be your secret weapon and make this big journey, this big climb so much easier. So make sure you're relating to your customer base, and also make sure you're pointing out those properties that have DPAs available at them. Megan here had some yard signs made for her DPA eligible listings, and then she added a QR code which directs people at the property to her Down Payment Connect landing page. And this is such a fun way to engage with someone that's parked at the curb, just looking at that home, dreaming of owning it. I don't know about you guys, but when I purchased a home, I definitely drove by all the properties I was interested in before I even scheduled a showing of that property to go see it because you want to see the neighborhood. And this is a great way to capture their attention immediately. You know, where you think about neighbors in the neighborhood, seeing a house in the neighborhood going up for sale. And if this is out there, they can be letting people they know, hey, come live next to me, you know, and also this has DPA available at this property that can help you with that. We love this from Minnesota. This is the Barker Hedges group, and they launched an entire Facebook page dedicated to serving first-time home buyers. And they have multiple explainer videos answering questions about saving for a down payment and down payment assistance. They even cover a few local program examples, but everything is directed back to their Minnesota first-time homebuyer website where they can search for programs. You can also see that they highlight real home buyer success stories on their site. And this, for me, is my personal favorite way to drum up business because we all love hearing a heartwarming story like this. So make sure you're highlighting success stories too. It is such a great way to connect with potential home buyers because they're seeing real stories about how DPA can help people. So along the way, ask your buyers if you can mention the amount of down payment help they used, their experience working with you in the program, and then you can highlight that on social media, in your blog, on your website. You can even reach out to us. We love hearing those stories and we love sharing those as well and doing some interesting joint partnerships with that to help co-market some things with that for you. But real examples from past first-time home buyers will help you connect better with tomorrow's buyers. It shows them that it's something that they can achieve. I do also want to point out here that they are co-marketing this page with their lender partner. This is such a great idea to partner up together. So work smart together with your DPA lenders who do these programs well because they can be that expert that you pull in to discuss the DPA unique nuances that you may be unfamiliar with, and they can be the person that your buyer leans on for that. That same Minnesota team also posts educational videos for aspiring buyers. This main video on the screen highlights how buyers can find a participating lender. I do want to point out that if you notice, even on the right side of the screen, all of those videos are about a minute long. They keep these videos short and to the point. And I will say, if you keep it simple, you can even break down the DPAs into shorter videos and make a whole series out of it. But these smaller videos are really easy for consumers to digest that information, right? And become a little bit more educated. So sticking with social media, here's a couple more great examples from Instagram. Bo in Florida tells his audience about DPAs and to stop second guessing themselves. It's such a great message. John in California tells his Instagram audience that there's help out there for people who are worried they'll never have enough down payment saved up. And both of these are reaching out to the audience and just kind of making sure to educate them that there are options out there. It's not just you have to have this huge chunk of money saved up in order to get a home. There are solutions out there, and don't second guess yourself and don't stop yourself from taking those steps to try and get into a home. But both of them are leveraging hashtags and use tools like Linktree, which you can do to add to your down payment connect link to the Instagram bio. But let buyers know that there's help out there and that you are the person who can help connect them to that help. TikTok is another platform that we're noticing a lot of usage and a lot of education in. A lot of people will scroll on TikTok and watch lots of different videos. And their feed will start bringing up things that they've watched before. So having things on there that have to do with down payment assistance can be really helpful to get some attention to that. And what's on the screen here is she did a short little video just kind of helping to educate people on how they can buy a home for the first time in Texas specifically while utilizing down payment assistance. So this is great. It gives a little bit of personalization, a little more familiarity, um, and connection. So I mentioned before, you can use platforms like LinkedIn and Linktree. Here's a couple of examples of those. And I will point out, I know you saw the cute little puppy image a couple slides ago, but that's one of our stock images. We have several stock images. There have actually been some others while I've been showing examples that are stock images on here. You'll have access to all of those in your marketing resources tab when you're logged into your Down Payment Connect. But this one I think is particularly cute because it's not just using the stock image, but really honing in on the fact that it's a dog, right? So anybody that's an animal lover like I am, we pay attention to the images of cute little puppies and cats and whatever kinds of animals, right? And it grabs our attention, and that's what this one does. But the text is part of what I love. It says, "Who says your furry friend can't have a say in your home search? And let me help you find the perfect home for you and your four-legged family member with down payment assistance options." And then if you clicked on see more, you could see it says click on the link below to see my eligibility search platform and see what could be an option for you. But he has his link right there. People can click right on that, go to his eligibility search page, fill out the questions, which is only like 7 quick questions. It's so fast. And then those leads go straight to his inbox. So another great example there. Okay, so now we're going to look live at some of those examples and a few more in a little bit more detail. Okay, so I'm going to switch from this slide deck here real quick. Give me a second. All right, I have a couple of things pulled up here. Let me hide my little controls up here. So up first is Suncoast Realty Solutions. And I will point out, because we're talking to both agents and loan officers, I have both examples up here that I'm going to show to you guys for how agents and loan officers have been sharing their Down Payment Connect link. But just along the way, just keep in mind there are ways that you can adjust some of these options to make it still work for you, whether you're an agent or a loan officer. So Suncoast Realty Solutions, on their website, in their navigation bar, if you hover over buy, you can see down payment assistance is one of those options right there. Let me close this out. I'm going to show you an example of what that looks like. If I click on down payment assistance, I'm going to come to a page like this. This is what your consumer would see. They're going to come to a page where they know that in this case, it would be Brandy Gabbard that their information is going to go to, but it would have your name and your information right there. At minimum, our tool needs to know where the home buyer is wanting to move to. It can be a specific street address. Some people know that, but in most cases, it's not. Most cases, it's a little early on and they just know an area, a general area they're wanting to move to. So it could be a county or a city, but let's say Butler Beach. So in St. Johns County, as soon as I click on that, the system is starting to produce the match program count. Okay. And the more information I put in down here, the more tailored those results are going to be. Like if I wanted to find a triplex, and I want to rent out a couple of those units, there are still 16 programs that will help me with that, but that adjusts to that total count, right? It decreased it a little bit. You can base it on household size, estimated sales price, current home ownership status. So as an example, let's say for a single unit property, but I do currently own a home in this particular area, there are still 8 programs available that could help me, right? Even though I currently reside in a home that I own. But you can continue to navigate through all these different options in here, fill in income. And also there are stats down here that could potentially produce additional options. Like if you're working with a veteran, if they click on this and there happens to be veteran specific programs, that could produce some more. There are like American Indian programs here. Once I clicked on yes, that brought my count from 23 up to 31. So there are some special cases there. And there are special circumstances like professions, disability, military, energy efficient homes, things along those lines where you may be able to uncover additional programs that are very refined to specific people for those. Once you click on get details, you're going to come to a page like this where it's going to show the consumer the total program count, the maximum assistance, which by the way, this number is for the highest paying program and only one of those. Some of these programs can be stacked in some cases so that the consumer can use more than one in some cases. So it shows them just a quick highlight, but then it's just going to let them know that enter your contact information below, and that's going to go to you as the agent or the loan officer. Once they fill this out and click get program details, then they will get the confirmation email and you will get a lead email, and then you can reach out to them from there. So that's how simple this tool is. And then you'll start getting those leads in. So let me show you another example here. So this is in Oklahoma, and they have it here. Let me get this away. They have it here so that as soon as you come to this page, there's a pop-up letting you know immediately that down payment programs are available and we can help you with those. And if you want to know what DPAs are available, click on this link right here. And then you'll be able to fill out the eligibility search form just like we did on this previous one. I'm not going to pull this up every time, but that's how it would be. You would go to a search form with any of these that I'm showing you as an example and fill that out. Okay. Oh, this one is messing up. It didn't pull open. Sorry about that. On this next one, this page here, MCS Mortgage Services, they have a page dedicated to just letting the consumers know that down payment assistance programs are available and that they can help you with those. They did create a page on their website for this, but it is a very short page. This is literally the only content. This is the end of it. So this is the only content you get on this page. And it just quickly gets to the point that down payment programs are available. If you want to see if you qualify, click here, and then goes into a little bit more information about DPA programs and those nuances. But reiterating another call to action, click here. Once I would click on either of those, I would be filling out that eligibility search form, and that lead would go to MCS Mortgage Services. So they're all built up the same kind of way as far as the eligibility search form goes. It's just a matter of how you want to let people know and get them to that form. Okay. Here is RWM Home Loan. So this is on a loan officer page, but if you are an agent and you just have a bio page about yourself or something like that, you could have a call to action on that page as well. So if you scroll down, there's just a little bio about Angela here, but there are 3 potential steps that she wants consumers to know that they can go to, right? If you're wanting to refinance a home, obviously that has nothing to do with DPA, but you could click on that one. So it depends on what people are coming to her site for. If one of those things is I want to see what down payment assistance programs are available out there, and if you work with those and you can help me, click on this, find assistance. So you can have some sort of a call to action, letting your consumers know that that's an option, even if they've never known it before. So now I'm going to show you a couple of examples on social media. So I have Facebook pulled up here, and here's Christy Linhart. She did a post, which one of our stock images right here as well, but she just put a note in here. My mind's blown. You may be eligible for DPA and not even know it. I love this because it's like she's relating. Like even my mind is blown. I didn't know that there was all of this available out there. And let me help you find out more as well. Right. And then there's a link right here. So you can click on this and that leads you straight to her eligibility search tool so that those leads go straight to her. But this is a great example, right, on how you can put some social media content out there. Here's another one. Dale actually did a short little video and talking about all the different DPA programs that are available out there and how those can help you. But you can see his video is only like 30 seconds. Like it's not long, just a little video, but people love those videos. So if you are comfortable with doing videos, do a video. The last example I want to show you here is this is an example of a multi-part series where someone had, an agent had decided to do multiple videos. Now, you'll notice her videos are a little longer. They're a little under 10 minutes. This one is at least. So it's a little bit more educational focused rather than quick minute or 30-second type videos. But you can do these, right? And this particular video is discussing the down payment assistance availabilities, right? And understanding what your options are out there in regards to that. And then in her overview section over here, she's left her down payment resource DPA link right over here so that consumers can click on that, go to her eligibility search form, and be connected with her to discuss those next steps. So those are a few examples live, but there are so many options, right? There's so many people doing so many different things. If you've got something you've been doing already, if you're already a user of our tool, and you have a great idea, send it to us. We love seeing new updated information and coming across these kinds of things that we can share. And we love seeing people get really great results from that. Okay, so I'm going to bring this slide deck back up. We're almost done here. I just have a few more quick slides to go over with you. So in my role here at Down Payment Resource, I speak with agents across the country very regularly. And I'm always learning how they're using our tools in these ways that we've talked about, as well as others, to help aspiring home buyers. Do not be afraid of down payment assistance options. I know that holds people back sometimes because it's just a whole area of information that seems a little overwhelming or scary because it's just you're not comfortable with it. I will say as an agent, it's so easy for you guys because you don't have to be the expert. You can become an expert in down payment assistance programs, but such an important part of your role is really just informing those home buyers that there are DPAs out there that can help them and they don't need to just window shop, and be scared to reach out to a loan officer and get a loan app going, right? So if you're letting them know there are these potential programs available, you're going to help them realize that it may be more of a reality than what they realize. So just make sure they know about it, and then leverage those experts to help guide them along the way from there if you're not that comfortable in discussing them. Okay. So here's a quick recap of the ways I've shown you that can assist you in this endeavor, as well as a few other ideas. So the email signature, I can't stress this one enough. You can do it without much lift at all. It is a very quick one and done, high impact bit of effort. So just make sure to add a graphic or hyperlink some text and then get that added in there. If one of your listings is eligible, make sure you're marketing that listing with program information. You can even highlight some of the programs that are available at that property or the maximum assistance amount available. However many programs are available, you can highlight some of that information. You can even print out program information and have it available at the open houses for those houses you're listing that have DPA available. You just put it on like a countertop or an island or a kitchen table or wherever and let people collect those and take them with them. Facebook ads, allow you to target your specific market, and they give great reports on the number of clicks, views, etc. And it can help you test interest in content. So add your Down Payment Connect as your Instagram profile link as well. In your Instagram post, you can direct buyers to click the link in your profile. As I've said before, educational content is a really great plus. And buyers are doing so much more research in advance. So use those keywords like down payment help and your city name. So like down payment in Cincinnati, Ohio, right? Many buyers are going to search for things like that, right? Down payment help in Richmond, Virginia, or whatever it may be. And then that can pop up for you. Also, add a first-time home buyer section on your website. Many people have a for buyers page, but make sure to really speak to that audience that you want to reach and use words like first-time home buyers or new buyers. Explainer videos on your website and social media can really add a lot of value. Everyone is busy, and those videos make it so much easier to take in the information. There are so many ways to record and easily edit today. You can host virtual homebuyer events and even co-host those with referral partners such as loan officers that are experienced with DPAs. And along the way, don't forget to reach back out to your target audience through ongoing drip marketing campaigns. Because some of these buyers may not be ready right this minute, but by sending valuable information and connecting them to other homebuyer education or resources that can help, you will be top of mind for them when they're ready. Finally, leverage the experts available to you. Remember, you don't have to be an expert in down payment assistance. You can lean on your HFAs and lenders and partner with them. So here are a few tips. I suggest finding participating lenders for each program in the program details section. You can develop partnerships with more participating lenders and ask the lenders that you currently partner with what programs they're eligible to work with. Even if, as an agent, if you've worked with a loan officer in the past and you didn't have to use down payment assistance programs for that particular buyer, it doesn't mean that that lender doesn't work with DPAs. It just means it may not have been brought up with you. Like it might not have been something that you were aware of in that particular case. So reach out to all of those that you already have partnerships with and relationships with. See if you can refer some of your customers to them when the time comes. You can also connect with your state and local HFAs, nonprofits, and employers to find out what resources they might offer for agents and what other classes they offer. On any of your website content, blog, or social media, highlight information about local programs and make sure you're utilizing those keywords that we talked about before. Also, you can take a first-time homebuyer class to get content ideas for first-time homebuyers. During that, you can see what they're learning and what they're interested in to become a little bit more informed along the way. We would love if you joined our growing Facebook group called Down Payment Insiders. On there, you can join over 13,000 real estate agents, loan officers, housing counselors, DPA providers, lots of professionals, as they're discussing best practices with DPAs, first-time home buyers, working with lenders, learning from each other, marketing ideas, so much. And it's up to you. You can listen in and learn, or you can participate in the dialogue and engage with your peers. It is also a great place to network and connect with loan officers that offer DPAs in your market. We are always being asked where agents can find loan officers that are familiar with DPAs to partner up with, and it's a really great place to do that. So let me introduce you to a couple of successful agents utilizing DPAs that we actually met on our Facebook community page that I was just telling you about. So Raul Rowe, you've heard me talk about him a couple of times today, but he's a veteran and he understood firsthand the challenges that other veterans face with homeownership and decided to become an expert on DPA programs that are specific to veterans in the state of Texas. He did some research and he became very informed on those specific programs. Not all DPAs, but those ones right there he knew was something that he could utilize to help other veterans. So you saw a couple of his ideas earlier, but he took the time to dive into these programs so that he could understand them well, and he now utilizes that knowledge to assist other veterans that are looking to purchase a home. Amber Bennett works with peers that are all first-time home buyers. She decided to dive into the details of DPAs so she could become an expert that home buyers can turn to for reliable guidance on the ways in which they could get into a home without having to have a huge down payment saved up first. She really dove in and found LOs to partner with who were like-minded and did DPAs well. And like Amber's clients, DPA customers truly do become customers for life. Make sure you're telling their story and helping them, because when you help them, I guarantee you they're going to refer you to their family members, their friends, to people they just run into and happen to get into a conversation about buying a home. They're going to say, sing your praises and say how fantastic you are and how you were able to help give them information they didn't know. So if you're here, you can probably relate to these DPR power users. They're both aiming to serve their own communities well. And in these cases, they're new buyers and veterans. But they saw a real need in their market, and now they're being that hero to their clients. So thank you all so much for joining us today. I've got on the screen here our contact information, which is info@downpaymentresource.com. After today's webinar, if you have any questions or need any assistance at all, or you want to share some really cool stories with us, we love that. So you can email us at the info@downpaymentresource.com. Our website is downpaymentresource.com if you want to find any of those quarterly, monthly reports and things like that. Have some educational content on there. You can find that right there. But before we go, I do want to check in and see if there are any questions that we should address live. So Lori, Mel, is there anything that we should answer live or any trends with questions that we should touch on?
Yeah. Hey, Tracy, it's Mel. One thing which I think we can maybe, all speak to this, or Tracy, you can speak to this, but we did have a really great question that I think goes well with this webinar, and it's from Miriam, and she wants to know, how can I be an expert to better support my clients? So I think you covered quite a bit of that there, but if you want to add anything on maybe just some things that, agents or loan officers can do to be a better expert on down payment assistance with their clients. And then the only thing else I'll ask Tracy, if you don't mind going back to the slide where our partners are listed, our MLS partners, we've had quite a few questions about how to access down payment resource if they're part of one of our MLS partners. So maybe if we could just touch on that and just let everybody that's on the call know who our partners are. You should have down payment resource for free through your MLS if you're affiliated with any one of these MLSs. So those are my 2 points for now. We've had some great questions. It's a good audience.
Thanks. Thanks, Mel. Okay, so I'll touch on those. So as Mel already said, these are our MLS partners. So if you are part of one of these MLSs, you have down payment resource tools available right there within the MLS. You do not need to do anything to get it set up, to get it started. It's already active and just literally sitting there waiting for you. You can reach out to someone from your MLS if you want some additional information. All of them are different on the data and the way that they display all of this, but a lot of them have recorded content and things like that from previous custom webinar type sessions that we've done for the MLS and things like that. So you could reach out to them for any of that also. You also have the Down Payment Connect tool as part of that MLS integration for free available to you and waiting for you to use as well. So those are on the screen. As far as the question, and I'm so sorry, Mel, I forgot the name. I think it was Miriam that had asked about how to become an expert with DPAs and to be able to really become an expert source for your customers. First, one of the easy things you can do is, like I said earlier, every single state has a housing finance agency, and there is a statewide or sometimes multiple statewide programs through that state HFA. You can hone in on that and just become savvy and understand some of the details about those specific program or programs from the state HFA, because they're not going to be bound by certain city or county limits. It's going to be statewide. So that's a good first starter. Now, I will say there are so many programs in every state that each lender has certain criteria for the types of programs they will and won't work with. So you're not going to find any lender that works with all DPAs across the board. At least I haven't run across any. So there's always going to be some nuances, and it's dependent on that specific lender as to what's a program they can and can't work with or will and won't work with. And some of these programs do require the lenders to get pre-approved to be one of their lenders that they work with. So sometimes there's a pre-approval process that they have to do to be able to be on that approved lender list. So with that being said, you can then, with any of these programs, you can click on the leads that come to your inbox and you can click on one of those programs. If it's a program you're trying to become familiar with, you can click on that and it takes you to a page where you can have a few options of information to learn about that program, as well as additional options to click on. And one of those is to find the list of the approved lenders for that DPA provider. That's not our list. That's that program provider's list, but we'll give you the link so you can go straight to their website and look at that list. And that will give you a good starting point for the ones who have already been working with that program. That can give you a good heads up on which lenders to reach out to that you know can work with that program. And you can get a rapport going with them, not only as partnership, but also to help them educate you a little bit more on some nuances with working with that specific program, because those lenders are going to be a lot more savvy and a lot more familiar with the different DPA programs and the tasks that have to be done in order to utilize those programs, because it does vary from one to another. So those I would say, and once again, I talked about this earlier, but joining in on one of those homebuyer education classes, if you can join in on one of those with one of your buyers along the way, I think it's a really great thing to do. Most of them allow online education, so you can certainly just do it online with them. You don't have to go in person for most of these anymore. I'm just trying to get to that contact page at the very end for you guys so you can have that available to you real quick. But there's a lot of steps you can do, but I would definitely say that there are so many programs out there. Don't try to ingest all of the programs at once. You're going to get overwhelmed because there's so many. Just start tacking away at a few of those different programs. Like I said, starting with some of the state HFA programs is going to be great because it's going to be available across the whole state. All right. Any other questions or anything else that's coming through in chat, Q&A, things like that?
One more, just to answer Leslie's question in chat rather than type. Um, she's asked, can any lender accept DPA or only the ones approved on the list with MLS? And so most down payment program providers are going to have their own approved lender list. So a lender typically has to go through some kind of process, and I think that varies quite a bit by provider, but they're going to have some kind of process to go through to get on the approved list for a down payment program provider. And when you do use our database, we do provide links to those lenders. However, if you have a lender that you work with and if you just want to ask if maybe they provide DPA or you want to get them approved to be on a provider's list, you can certainly do that. I mean, I don't think it's just I think the providers take the they have lenders on their list, but I don't know that they necessarily close that off, if you will. So I think any lender has a chance to work with any provider. I hope that helps. Oh, and
Thanks,
I'm
Mel.
sorry, Tracy, one more thing I just wanted to ask because we always get this question. We will be sending out the recording and the slides to everyone. You should have that in your inboxes in the next few days. But so if you missed any part of the session or you just want to, watch it again, we'll have that out to you guys as soon as possible.
Thanks, Mel. I do also want to just add to what Mel was saying about the approved lenders. When you see that list of approved lenders with the program providers, that doesn't mean necessarily that a lender that's not on that list can't or won't work with that program. It just means maybe that they haven't had to go through that process with that particular program yet. So don't be afraid to reach out to a partner that you have, or if you're working with a customer and they have a specific lender they're working with, and they're not showing up on that list, they may just not be aware of that program because there are so many programs, like over 2,600 programs in our portal across the country is a lot of programs. So there are certainly times where there are programs out there that they're just not aware of, and they may be willing to certainly go through any steps that are required to become an approved lender with them. So I would definitely not hesitate to ask them. Never hurts to ask. It's what my parents always told me growing up. All right. Any other questions? There was a question, how do you customize the marketing resources from the website? If you can add to that a little bit, I'm not sure if you're meaning, we do have uh, some little template flyers. There's a bottom, like right-hand section on those flyers that you can customize and add your own contact information and things like that on there. You just download the flyer you're wanting to use and edit that. But if you're talking about, wanting some information on how to customize um, the the marketing resources and like change them, like if you want to change the image or something like that, I believe, Mel, you might want to chime in on that one, but I believe that there's no ability to adjust those templated, like those already created marketing resources.
Yeah, so we do have the personalizable flyers. You're right, Tracy, but the some of the social graphics, they're not really branded in general. So you're welcome to pull those graphics into whatever resource that you may use, like Canva or something like that, to add your logo. But they're kind of designed to be a little bit more generic and generalized, so they can be used, among many audiences. But yes, the personalizable items are the flyers that are on the marketing resources page.
Thanks, Mel. Daphne, I saw your question. How do you find the leads as an MLS partner? So, if you are a member of the MLS, you're going to get the leads the same way as a paid subscriber for Down Payment Connect. They're going to come to your email address. The only thing there is that it's going to be whatever email address is tied to your MLS membership. So, whatever email address you use there is going to be the same email address those leads go to. And so it'll just be in your inbox. Um, I think that that's it. I think that we've covered everything. If you guys have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to email us. Our team is always happy to help you guys along the way. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we are all here at this company because we want to help more home buyers get into homes. And make those dreams a reality for them. And along the way, we want to help you guys as agents and lenders to do your jobs easier, to inform your customers easier, and to get them into those homes. So if there's ever anything we can do to help you with that, please don't hesitate to reach out. But thank you all so much for joining us today. We do have ongoing webinars, so please keep an eye out for any of our upcoming sessions. I'm sure Mel will be putting those in the email that she'll send out to you with the recording that you get. So if you want to join in any of our other sessions, you're welcome to do so. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. And I hope to see you in another one of our sessions. Bye, everyone.